Hello, Internet. Thank you once again for joining me to talk all things vertical drama. And I have the two stars of one of the great new verticals that has come out recently on Salty TV called Power Play. And as I loved it so much, I like to then follow up and see if I can talk to the people who are in it and find out more details. So I have our stars, who are Eloise Lola Gordon and Vincent Ranola. I'm going to ask them both to give a little intro of themselves to the internet. We'll go ladies first because it just is always easier when there's two questions. We'll always start with Eloise. So, Eloise, if you want to go.
Yeah, hi, I'm Eloise. I'm an actor based in LA, but originally from Denver, Colorado. I've been working in verticals for the past year. Before that, I've mainly done like indie features and shorts, mainly in like the horror and kind of LGBT romance genres. But now I'm very much in the vertical world and having a lot of fun.
Hi, my name is Vince. I am from Indiana. It's about 45 minutes out of Chicago, so Chicagoland. I've been acting for 10 years, about 10 years now, in theater and then also in film. This is my first vertical, so I'm stepping into the world, and yeah, I kind of got fresh legs and just enjoying it.
So, I'm going to move quickly on to Power Play, which I would say is quite different from a lot of verticals that have gone before, partly because of Cruz, the director. So she's not only the director, but she's the writer and she's the producer, and basically, I think pretty much did everything, including making everyone cups of tea. So I was running around doing all that, but also with the ambition of how it looks, how it's shot, and the story. So if I could start with you, Eloise, was that apparent from the beginning when you first saw a script of like, oh, this is aiming to do more?
Yeah, even from the audition process, everything was a lot more thorough and a lot more personal, I'd say. Like, I feel like off the bat, Cruz was a person that I was talking to as opposed to just like a name in an email. And she wanted to talk on the phone and she was really interested in like building the character and building a relationship with us and having us build relationships with each other. It felt a lot closer to what like a feature film would be in terms of how we were prepping for it. And also, we were originally supposed to shoot this in the very beginning of February, but because of the fires, everything got pushed a month, almost a month and a half. So that also gave us all this extra time to really dive into the story and prepare, which most verticals I get, I mean, some of them I get the script like 4 days before we shoot, and this one we had like all this time. And she wanted us to dive deeply into the characters and really make them as complex and like fleshed out as we can, which was really nice.
And what about you, Vince? Was there kind of what did you know of verticals before you came to this?
I mean, I'd done a couple little spots here and there on a few verticals just for some cash, and so I kind of got a little taste of what it was like. I actually had met Eloise um, on a separate vertical just for a quick little day, but when we met again on this one, I was like, wait, was that you? Like a couple days in, we are like, wait a minute, you were on that one, and then we had a kind of aha moment. But um, yeah, I mean, I don't have much to compare it to in regards to the production side of things. But Eloise kind of said it all. I mean, Cruz was really hands-on. We started shooting in early March, and I'd been talking to Cruz since late December. I submitted for the role. Um, she gave me a call, and we talked, and she just seemed really, um, like she really cared about what she was doing, which, is any, I'll speak for myself. It's my dream is to work with people who, care about what they're doing, and really thorough, and she wanted to make something special and quality, and so this is really like my only experience with verticals, and I think that, I talked to Eloise and a couple other people, and it seems like Cruz set the bar pretty high for me, so I feel lucky that I was able to be a part of this one. But yeah, Cruz really, I think, pushed for this to. I mean, it felt like we are making like an indie short film in a way, and the crew, and I'm sure that could be a separate question, so I won't touch on it for too long. But the crew and the cast, I mean, it was, from my side of things, really special, and we all got along really well. And I think that, if other verticals can be like this one, then I think I would love to keep doing them.
So, Eloise, one of the things I loved about it, and I know is really important to Cruz, is that your character is not a victim in any sense of the word. She
Yes.
is strong. She is cool. She takes control of the whole thing. To be honest, I'm slightly more worried for the male characters. I don't think she's going to stick around. She's off. She's got bigger
Totally.
things. I was more worried. Um,
Totally.
was it like, because that must have been like, oh, thank goodness, I finally got like a role that I can sink my teeth into and have more fun with.
Exactly. It felt like such a blessing because I started verticals playing more of the villain roles, and then I kind of transitioned into the leads because I mean more money, more screen time. I like being able to kind of like lead the ship with the story. But yeah, a lot of the lead vertical characters are very passive. Everything is happening to them. They don't really have a lot of say. And I constantly get the notes in those moments of like, hey, bring it down, just like keep it a little more inside. And I'm a kind of a more fiery person. I'm like, no, but I would say something, or I would make like I would react and be like, don't do this to me. What are you talking about? Whereas most verticals are like, ah. But I liked this one because her character, I mean, if you shift the perspective, she almost could be a villain in the sense because she is manipulating everyone and she has all these plans and schemes and she's intelligent and she has a complicated relationship with her mother. And yeah, it was really nice to be able to play a much more three-dimensional character that felt a lot closer to who I am as a person and how I would probably react in this type of situation. Not just like sit in a corner and cry, but like, you know what? This man ruined my life for 4 years. He's not just going to get away with it.
Yeah, and I mean, as a female viewer, I can say that's brilliant. So
Yeah.
I want to ask you about your role because obviously it's incredibly physical.
Yeah, yeah, we were
So presumably
moving.
ice hockey was already a done deal. Did you play when you were younger?
I'm not a hockey player, but I can play hockey. I think that's the best way I put it to Cruz. I played pond hockey with my buddies back home in Indiana. So during the winter, the pond would freeze over, and if it was thick enough, we'd go out there and play. But if you put me out there with like real guys, it wouldn't be so good for me. So, I definitely like felt that I had to work up to them, and with my keen eye, there were a couple shots where I'm like, oh yeah, they cut right before I fell and stuff like that. But there were a couple shots also where, I was like, all right, that was pretty good. So, we just had fun, and the guys out there like Hogan and Andrew and Mark were just so patient and helpful, and we really got it's a dance out there, it's all choreography and it's a dance, and you know we it was fun. I'm not, yeah, again, I think it was just I just had to step up a little bit, and I think it worked out. I think we got some good stuff in there.
Because I think obviously there's been quite a lot of verticals that will have some sort of sports element in it. But I don't think
uh,
there's one that I felt as much of like one, you're in the action, and two, like this is a proper team with like team dynamics
yeah,
because they spend a lot more time just with the team. Um, did you kind of get that then? People always say this, don't they? But we bonded as a team, being the team. Did that happen?
totally, absolutely. I'm actually I'm still I made a good friend from this production, and he was one of the hockey players, and um you know I think I'm a sucker for kind of like the team element. There's something about like sportsmanship and brotherhood that it makes me feel something, and so I think that was really cool to have that element in a vertical. Yeah, again, I'm not extremely, I hear what the verticals are typically about, and this seemed like something that was a little more unique to have that kind of, there's the romance, but there's also the friendship and the brotherhood, and then also the butting of the heads with Tyler and Brody. So. Yeah, totally. There's a total dynamic of that on set, on and off screen.
It
And then
definitely felt like an ensemble cast in that way,
Mm.
the way that everyone bonded and was really spending time together. Because I feel like sometimes in verticals you have like the top two or three and then like the supporting cast and you feel very separated. But even for me, not being a part of really any of the hockey stuff, I still feel like I got pretty close with a lot of those boys.
So I have to ask, I'm just going to stay on the physical. Don't worry, Eloise, I have a question for you about that as well, and the yoga. So don't worry. I want to ask about the yoga. So not only are you then doing all these ice hockey scenes,
Yeah.
there's a lot of time in the gym. I mean, basically, I feel like you were made to work in that. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah, there were
There is
two
a
days
lot of
where we
gym
were.
time, which I know why Cruise has put it in. I know that's for the young ladies, but like it looks quite full on. Were you just not shattered? Because sometimes
I
in
mean,
verticals you just get to stand around and look good in a suit. You were made to work in this one.
certainly, yeah. I mean, we were working out those 2 days. We were working out all day, because even, you know, bashfully, I think that you kind of want to also look, if you're going to be seen on camera without your shirt on, you want to look good. And so, Aiden, he is, I mean, rock solid. That guy, he was DJ Slapshot, and he was like running us through a course all day. And, I had to hop out a couple times. I'm like, Aiden, man, you keep going, but I need to, you know, go to Crafty or something and, eat some junk food. But no, we had, yeah, there were 2 days in the gym, and those 2 days we were working hard.
Then obviously you do get your moment as well, Eloise. The
Yeah.
yoga.
Oh yeah.
Were you able to take the lead on the yoga? Was that quite nice to?
Yes, yes. I do a lot of yoga, which is, I think, why they were like, oh, yeah, you just do what you need to do. But it was nice to have that, like, I'll feel like I was able to do something physical as well. And then even when we have, like, our little montage scene where we're doing yoga together and I'm, like, leading him through poses, that was a lot of fun to shoot. Yeah, the gym stuff was fun, and I will give all the boys so much credit because they're lifting real weights. Like they could have easily got them like fake weights so that it looked like it. We were in a real gym with all real equipment. Everyone was actually working out. Because yeah, Aiden is a personal trainer, so he was like, "All right, well, get to work, boys." And I mean, it shows. I think that's the kind of the realism that a lot of verticals cut corners in a lot of ways because of time, budget, and whatnot. And this one they really were like, let's make this as believable as possible. And I think that's why it looks so good.
And then the other thing that kind of really struck me that looks great is all the frat parties that you have. I mean,
Which we all shot in one day.
Yeah,
We
yeah, one
shot
day.
all of the parties in one day.
Yeah.
that is a decorated set, isn't it? I mean, were you, particularly Eloise, sort of having covered my verticals, were you like, whoa, this is a level up?
No, oh, completely. And especially with the hair and makeup and the wardrobe. I mean, shout out to Bella and Anna because, like, yeah, most of the time they try and keep everything super simple because we're moving from shot to shot. And yeah, we had what, three major parties to shoot in one day. And I
Yeah.
had three completely different looks. I mean, it was chaotic. There was a lot going on, but it was a lot of fun too because it was just a bunch of us hanging out and they're like, hey, your job is to have fun right now. Everyone have fun. The camera's on, like smile. And we were like, oh no. Yeah, like even the part when I'm like sitting in the hot tub before Tyler introduces himself where DJ Slapshot is hitting on me, that wasn't even really originally in the script. It was supposed to be just like a quick moment with no dialogue. And we were having so much fun shooting it and having so much fun with the improv that all of that was improvised. And they just thought it was so funny that they put it in. But I kept getting the note from Cruz, like behind the camera, like, Eloise, you don't like it because Aiden and I are good friends. And so we were just cracking up and like messing around the whole time. She was like, you're not supposed to be into him. I was like, oh, right, right, right. I'm not having fun. I'm supposed to be uncomfortable right now. Right.
And you get to push him in the pool, which is always a satisfying moment in a vertical.
Yeah, that was so funny.
Aiden
His
killed.
reaction,
Yeah.
so
We had
good.
so many takes of him like coming up from the water, and he would do something different every time, and we were all cracking up, but we couldn't. But Aiden's something else. He's great.
And I have to ask about the costumes. I don't understand the earmuffs, and I felt really old.
So that the theme of that party was fire and ice. So it was supposed to be like it's summer, so everyone's in bikinis and it's a pool party, but for like the ice house and ice hockey. So that's why everyone's in like earmuffs and has like a lot of fuzzy stuff and like winter hats mixed in with the
I
all
just
the
had one of
Hawaiian
those. I
shirts.
think I'm old and don't understand fashion anymore. And I was also like, isn't that just like really uncomfy? Were they okay to wear?
No, they were super easy. I mean, they're like
They're
just
fluffy.
little puff balls. It was hard to hear. So when people were like yelling directions at me, I was like, "Wait, where's that coming from?" But other than that, it was fun. I liked
Did
them.
you have a favourite outfit of everything you got? Because you got some great stuff in that.
My gosh. I mean, I did love that outfit a lot. That one is up there for me. Also, I think the neon party, which is the party towards the end where I'm telling him that I'm leaving, where I'm in the green dress and I have like the little space buns and the cool like neon graphic liner stuff. I like that one a lot too. Those are
What about
probably my
you,
favorite.
Vince? I mean, I know you weren't allowed to put a load of clothes on, but did you have a favourite outfit?
Yeah, I think I forget what was the party, but it was like I had this green top on and like these brown kind of cargo pants, and I was like, oh, that's kind of like a cool fit. It was like nothing crazy, but it was just something I was like, oh, I'd wear this. But I called it my Shaggy outfit because it's the same colors as Shaggy from Scooby Doo. So I was like, yeah, I'm looking for Scooby Doo. But
So I have to ask about, I feel like the third person in the relationship, which is obviously Brody.
Ratty.
He's so
Yeah.
good. Um, I feel really bad because I wrote it in the review, but like he's so punchable, like punchable, but also lovable. And
Yes.
for the first time, you could actually see why her mum is charmed by him. Because normally in verticals, when there's a mum pushing someone else, like the only thing they've got is like, well, they've got money.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, you can see that he would just turn it on around the mum. And you'd be like, oh, he's so lovely, even though you know he's not. How is it working with him and how do you keep a straight face?
Oh my gosh, Matt's amazing. I mean, he's so, so talented. It was apparent from the first chemistry read that he just understood the balance of how to be an asshole, charming, and funny at the same time. Because I think that's something that Cruz and I were talking about a lot, where Brody's character still has to be likable in a way, because you have to believe that these people would have been in a relationship for 4 years and she wasn't just like being aggressively abused by him, which is, I feel like, the case in a lot of the verticals. The exes are just heinous, and you're like, in what world were they together for this long? Like, it just doesn't make sense. But he has that, like, kind of douchey frat boy charm, and his evil laughs get me every time. He's so good at it. Like the smile, but with like the ha 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 ha. I feel like it really sells the whole thing.
I think on paper, Brody was written a little more typically, like when you just read the script. That was all Matthew. I think he brought the charm to the role and the charisma. And I was talking to Eloise when we watched it recently. Like he owned every scene. Every scene he was in, he just owned it. And Matthew's a total professional and he's a great guy. But I think the element of Brody that would make him charming or likable or like redeeming in some sort of way, that was all him. And he brought that to the role. And like she said in the audition, there's just something about it. I actually like during the audition, they were having Eloise and I like read with a couple different Brodies, and I was just so like, for lack of a better term, like impressed by what he did. I kept laughing during the audition because it was like I was like, this is awesome, and he was just he brought something that really made it a lot more interesting, and he brought just a totally different angle to the character than just like a brooding villain. He was really charismatic, and I was like, oh, this is cool because that was bringing something out of me, which is like, oh, I have to match this guy because he's actually got something going for him. He's not just a complete asshole. But yeah, that was all Matthew.
Yeah. And I think that also speaks just to the complexity of the writing for this one too. Even with Tyler's character, I feel like so many of the vertical leading men are these kind of white knights, and while he does play that role, he does have this other side of him that he's supposed to be a player and like kind of a womanizer, and it's like they flip-flop. Where it's like Brody was originally supposed to be like the good boyfriend and then ends up being kind of the jerk. And Tyler was supposed to be the guy on the team everyone would expect to do something like that. And he's the one that actually steps up and ends up being like the good guy.
Because that was the only thing I felt, possibly because you made him so nice. I didn't really believe that he was messing around. Because it's kind of said, but you don't really see anything that makes you go that. And I thought, is this just like does it make sense? I feel you were so nice, as a
Thank
character.
you.
I didn't really believe that you would ever have been like that as a
They
character.
kept telling me, they're like, you need to be more of an asshole. I'm like, I'm trying, I to bring that side, of the character out and trying to find the balance because you want the audience to like this person too and to want this to be the guy. But also, he's a hockey player and he's a little rough, and so having a little bit of edge as well. I hope that came across, but I appreciate you thinking he's nice. I tried to kind of insert a little bit of edge into there as well. But like Eloise was saying, I think yeah, like this is a little more nuanced, and it's uh, a little less typical because it's just a little bit. Again, our lead isn't so passive. She's kind of aggressive and she knows what she wants and she'll get it. And our villain has redeeming qualities, and our hero has some diminishing qualities. His arrogance and his naivety. So I think that's what made this one really fun and breathable, is because everyone's a little more human. So
Things I really liked was obviously the confrontation between your character and Brody,
yeah,
particularly on the ice, and the
yeah,
fact that Brody's obviously got that thing, which you can tell is always niggling with Tyler, of basically you're a Nepo baby, you're only here on the team because of your dad,
uh-huh.
which really works. And you've got this amazing moment where you do like show this uncertainty in your eyes of like, you can kind of feel that it's going, whenever he says that, it's going straight to like Tyler's big fears. Yeah, maybe
Hmm.
that is why. But they're brilliant the way you do those as well, because I think it's much more realistic that you go from like everyone's trying to be buddy buddy on the team, but then it just suddenly flares up between you and then kind of comes down again, and sort of, having lived life. That's much more realistic than some of the much more stagey shouting and arguments in verticals. Just wanted to ask you about those scenes because they're brilliant. They're so good.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, we just wanted it to be kind of scrappy, and at the end of the day, I think part of Tyler wants to be boys with Brody, but at the end of the day, he likes Abby, and he doesn't know Brody well enough to like owe him anything. So it's messy, It's just a little messy. But yeah, those flare up moments were fun, and trying to keep those grounded but also exciting. Um, yeah. So did I answer your question?
You did. It's fine. So the next thing I want to ask about is, okay, so pretty much it's pretty clear from the first time that we see Tyler that he likes Abby, because it's pretty much the first line, isn't it? About like she's the best girl at school. When do you think Abby finally falls for Tyler?
Ooh, I think it's I think it's creeping up, but I think she's so focused on her revenge plot that it doesn't really sink in until the moment when he asks her, like, do you need me anymore? And I think it kind of all comes to her right then of like, oh, wait, we've been fake dating, but we're actually having like a lot of fun. And I think I'm actually really happy and I really connect with this person and he's easy to be around and he's easy to talk to. And yeah, we have fun together. And I think she realized like she wasn't having fun with Brody for this last bit. They probably were at the beginning of their relationship. Like we've talked about, like they probably enjoyed each other for the beginning, but they were together for 4 years. And I think it definitely fizzled out. So I don't think she was really realizing how much she was missing that dynamic until he asked her about it. And that's when she had to kind of confront, oh, does she actually have feelings now? And that's what the conversation with Madison, with Mo's character, kind of becomes. She's realizing, she's like, oh wait, maybe this is what I want. Am I allowed to want this? Because now like how we're coming into this is not normal, and is there a way that we can transition from having this fake relationship to having a real relationship, and what would that look like, and how would we explain that? And I think she definitely deals with a lot of the conflict of, yeah, like she's feeling so focused and so determined, but then life is still happening to her and she's not totally realizing.
Because that makes so much sense. Because the other bit I really like is that obviously you kind of get together, but then, okay, story wise, you need another bit of a conflict. And it's a really good little conflict because it's a very couple conflict to have. I've had this, my husband. Of basically, Tyler's trying to help. So it's coming from a good place.
Hmm.
If he's trying to help and he's like, I don't think she's going to submit this. I'm going to submit it for her. So it's all good. It's not a nasty thing. It's a good thing he's trying to do. But then she's also like, you can't do that without talking to me. And I
Yeah.
love those things because both people are kind of right and both people are trying to do the right thing. And it's so much more interesting.
Totally, totally. Yeah, I love that scene. That scene was so fun to shoot. Also, sorry to Vince because the underwear that we had, those red underwear, had little rhinestones on him, and I was hitting him hard with the underwear because I'm like, it's a tiny piece of cloth. Like, I'll just hit you with it. And he had all these scratches. He was bleeding by the end of it because the rhinestones were cutting him. Oh my gosh! But it kind of it
Good.
worked emotionally for this scene because we
I mean,
had
it
to
looks good when you're.
it,
It looks
yeah,
good
it
on
looks
screen.
great.
I'm
I
really
mean,
sorry you suffered. So yeah.
yeah, like suffering for the art, you know.
Yeah,
But that
suffer
is
for the
one of my
cause.
favorite scenes because exactly as you said, it's an argument where both people are right and both people are wrong. And it's just a complicated situation. And I think like she's a little more, I wouldn't say in the wrong, but like I think in the moment she could have been a bit more appreciative. But also, I mean, it's a really like that's a very vulnerable thing for her, like her dreams and, you know, coming from her mom and Brody who never really believed in her dreams and kind of told her they were silly for a long time, that she, even with all of her like smarts, she started to believe them. And Tyler was the first person to really believe in her and what she wanted in her life. And I think that's also why she falls in love with him, because he's there for her, not for who he wants her to be.
And obviously, you have a lovely ending,
Yeah.
which presumably wasn't filmed abroad. Budgets wouldn't allow. Only the budget had allowed you
It
to finish
wasn't?
in Europe.
It was filmed abroad as in the valley. It was filmed over the hill.
Yeah.
What do you think happens to them? What do you think's their kind of story afterwards?
That's the story to
Well,
be told, Jen.
I don't know.
We
Maybe
need
we'll
a
have a
sequel.
sequel.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it is them navigating their now adult lives of her having a job and having like a very important, stressful job, and then his career as a hockey player in Europe and what that looks like. Because I think in this one, yeah, he's like the star player and she's a student essentially, and the dynamic is going to kind of switch when she's the one with the high power job and he's probably, I mean, he's playing hockey at a not quite professional level and they're trying to figure out what that dynamic is.
Because there's a really interesting story there, isn't it? About potentially, does that
Yeah.
start to niggle with Tyler? Did he make the right decision?
Yeah, I've come up with my own little, idea. I talked to Cruz about it. She's like, oh, yeah, But which was, essentially like, again, flipping the dynamic. And she's doing very well in the political sector. And I think it'd be cool if it's, Tyler got an offer for the NHL. And so it's like, oh, yeah, I can be in some European league. It's no big deal. And him being kind of bottom of the totem pole. And that, now he's kind of the bottom and he has to fight his way up. And he's actually finding a lot more of a difficult it's a lot more difficult than he thought it would be, and he's at risk of getting kicked off the team, and then what? And what does that do to their relationship and feeling inferior and all those kind of things? And so I think that could be an interesting. There's so many pathways it can go to. Even Cruz was saying, like, there might be a season where we focus on a different player, like Brody. He might have his own story where he kind of figures out something about himself, or Luca Hogan's character, or Andrew's character, or whatever, Mark's character. They just kind of. I think there's a lot of different things that they can do, and I think it's just a fun world to play in. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think everyone's got fun little ideas, and it would be a lot of fun to keep going, especially with the crew. I mean, I think this is absolutely a crew I would love to, step back in with for any reason. You know,
So
so.
I just want to ask you both, are there any sort of favourite scenes or filming moments that we haven't covered that you just want to share, talk about?
I mean, the skate and date scene was a lot of fun to shoot. I think that was definitely one of my favorite days, even though we all had to be on set at that ice rink at 5:30 in the morning. It was an early day because that was the time that they were able to give us. We had to be out of there by like latest 6 p.m. or something like that. So everyone was there very early, very cold, very tired.
Very cold, yeah.
Because of that, we were all like, we gotta just do it. We gotta put smiles on our faces, and we all got to be in very cute outfits, and it was a lot of fun. Actually, so Vince and I have the same manager, and he has a little cameo as one of the scouts, so he got to be on set with us that day too. And there was a lot of people between like the extras and stuff that I don't think actually any of the background that day were hired background. I think it was all friends and family that were coming. And so that was a lot of fun to shoot, and I think you can feel that energy in the scene, that it's like it does feel like a big group of friends that are all partying together. And then obviously it's fun to pretend like I'm on the giggle juice and falling all over the
You
ice.
do it very well. It is hilarious.
Thank
And
you.
can I just say as well, you do a brilliant frustrated, exasperated face as well. um, sorry, Vince, when Tyler's like, "Oh, I'm stuck with it, and I have to." Yeah, it's a very good face. I felt you channeled a lot of my pain as a parent of just frustration in that just face you pull.
Totally, totally. Yeah, I think that was definitely a lot of fun to shoot, and I'm really happy with how that turned out.
Yeah, shout out to Oscar, our DP, and the boys, the Grips. They made it look really, really good because you can't tell, but outside of the frame of the camera, there's lights and bounce boards and this and that, and like especially the skate and date scene, just a total setup for what happened in camera. And so props to them. They,
Yeah.
again, everyone killed it.
Everyone was on the ice.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
had the little like grip things on the bottom of their feet, and I was like, I was watching the whole thing like, how are they doing this? And then one of our camera operators, oh my gosh, I'm completely blanking on his name. Um,
Donald
huh?
or Noah? Noah on the skates?
Yeah, Noah. Noah was on skates, holding the camera operating on skates. I was like, that is the craziest thing I've ever seen. I have so many behind the scenes videos because I was just filming him as he was doing that, because I was like, this is crazy. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, they killed it.
Yeah.
I would say my favorite scene to film, it was a little more simple, but I think it was just the scene probably where I felt the most kind of present and connected was the date scene. I think it just was like just by happenstance, I just felt sharp and I felt connected with Eloise, and I think we had a lot of fun. There's like a lot of alternate takes where, when I say like you look amazing, there was this whole thing where I was supposed to say something real big to her, and I was just kind of riffing off a couple times. We were laughing and had a lot of fun with that, and like the whole, the food eating and all that stuff, like that was all just, spur of the moment. So I think that one, again, it's I had a lot of fun on every scene, of course, but I think it was just really simple and nice, and I think I appreciated uh, personally like that filming that scene was a lot of fun. So
We got a lot of opportunities to improvise in this one and really add to moments and build on moments that I feel like normally you don't have time to do in verticals. But we were shooting 7 to 9 page days, which for a vertical is, I mean, unheard of. Pretty much always we're shooting between like 15 and 20. So the fact that we were actually able to have so much time, I think, again, is why it looks good. It doesn't feel rushed. It feels like they're real moments because we were able to take the time to craft those moments.
How long was the shoot in total then?
7,
7 or 8?
7 total.
Seven,
Yeah.
7, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I was just thinking about episodes. It is a slightly shorter one, which helps.
Yes. Yes, I think it was, I think the script was like 50 pages.
Mhm.
So yeah, that also lent. But the fact that like they gave us a 50-page script and they still gave us 7 days to do it. I mean, most vertical companies, if you had a script that short, we'd be doing it in 5. I mean, I've shot vertical scripts that are 90 pages in 6 days. So the fact that we were able to do this and they still gave us the time to do it, it was really nice.
Yeah.
I wish
I'd
more
also
of them
say
were able
it's
to do that.
amazing that you're both involved in it because it's such a great project. I just think it elevates everything on the screen. So, just as final questions, future projects. So, anything either of you can share that if you've got coming up, whether it's on horizontal, vertical, stage, whatever you've got going on.
Yeah, I mean, I have another vertical coming out on real short. That'll probably be out within the next month that I'm the villain in, the Regina George. In vertical terms though, that's kind of all I have. Right now, I'm promoting my own short that is in festivals right now that I directed, produced. I kind of did Cruz's job. Like I did everything and I acted in it, and that's doing really well. We've won Best Director, we've won Best Short, I won Best Actor, so excited about that. It's called Talk to Me Like the Rain. Should be out soon. And then next week I'm going to Portland, the Portland Horror Film Festival, to promote a feature that I am in that is there nominated for a bunch of stuff. So
Sounds
just
amazing.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
I'm excited about everything that's going to be happening this summer. Hopefully more projects will be shooting soon, but right now I'm in like promotion phase of a bunch of different things.
Events.
I just last night wrapped production that I was doing for the last 3 weeks. So sorry if I'm a little slow today. I got back home at 4 in the morning last night. So I'm a little tired, but we had a blast on that one. We actually shot a game along with the Vertical. It's the same parent company that made Power Play called Salty. And it's called Soap Opera Star, or at least that's the title that we've been working with, and it's a fun one. I'm a kid from the Midwest, which is ironically where I'm from, and I come to LA to pursue, you know, this girl that I've liked since I was a kid, and then I get dragged onto the soap opera set, and it's a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun on it. That was also just a really great experience. Um, and you know, what was I gonna say? Oh, there's also uh, a feature I did back in November that, if I remember correctly, like we should see a teaser for it sometime in the summer. So I haven't heard much about it recently, but that was a great project that I worked on as well. It was an indie feature film called Before We're Over. So I'm excited to see. I haven't seen anything from that one yet, so I would love to see what's going on with it, and I'm excited to see how it turned out. So, just auditioning and working on moving forward. So
Because that's one of the really striking contrasts, isn't it? Obviously, you've both done films, and obviously, it's a lot longer till they come out. And obviously, you could be a long time ago, but obviously, you're now, on the promotion trail and the
Okay.
festivals. Whereas, I mean, you were saying what Power Play was what, February, March?
Yeah, we shot Power Play the first 2 weeks ish of March,
yeah, I
around
think the
then.
fifth to
It's out in
the
June. I mean, that's
Something
insane,
like
really, isn't it?
yeah. I
Crazy.
mean, that's one of the nice things about verticals is like you do get to see them very quickly, and it feels very current when you're watching yourself. Like the feature that I'm going to be promoting in Portland, we shot September of 2022, and it's
Wow.
just been finished. But it's
Yeah.
like there's horror elements, there's all this VFX that goes into it. Like it takes a lot longer, but I'm blonde in it, and it's so weird for me to look at that footage and be like, oh my God, that's me. It's kind of nice though, because I do really feel like I get to separate myself from the character because it's been so long, and so I can watch it more objectively than, sometimes when you're watching things and you remember being on set and you're like, oh, this moment, like I remember when we shot this and I could have, if I just did this, it could have been a little bit better. And I think sometimes I can ruin the watching experience, but having that much distance, I feel like I'm able to watch that and just appreciate the work that was put into it, because I mean, of course I still have the memories, but I don't feel as much of that like pressure of like, oh, I could have done this, oh, I could have done this.
Totally. You actually, I'm sorry to interrupt you. You reminded me, at the end of the month, I'm going home to Chicago for a premiere for a film I did in October of 22. So yeah, feature films can take a little while to get spun around, but
Mhm.
I guess that is one of the pros of the verticals is like, yeah, like, you get to watch it pretty quickly, and there's like a fun element to that. We had a little watch party this past Sunday, and we were all like,
I was going
having
to
a lot of
say,
fun.
like, who was it? Like all in person? Did you all go around someone's house?
Yeah. Aiden, DJ Slapshot, lives in a really nice house that has a movie theater kind of area in it with like nice couches. And so everyone showed up, and really pretty much everybody in the cast and crew showed up that was able to be there at least. And it was so nice to be able to just hang out with everyone in like a not work casual setting. But we also, I mean, we had a wrap party the week after. Like I think this cast and crew, I mean, as we said earlier, we all developed real friendships, you know? Like, I still am in communication with pretty much everyone. I'm pretty sure I'm seeing a bunch of them tonight, actually. And I mean, it's so nice to be able to build relationships like that in an industry, especially in the vertical world where everything moves so fast and you're spending this really intense time with each other, but then you just like disappear after a week and a half of meeting and you never really see these people again unless you end up on set with them. So the fact that we're all able to build real relationships with each other, which then, you know, work begets work. You know, we're all keeping each other busy and recommending each other. And I think that's the best part about the community of this industry, it are those types of things. So
This is just a really nerdy question, but I'm like fascinated because so we know that we watch verticals on phones. So how did you watch for the watch party? Did someone like put it on a big screen and
We bought an
this
iPhone
mission?
Plus
You're like, it's a
Plus.
watch
it
party, but
was
we're all on our phones.
it was actually kind of funny because I think Christiane or Cruz edited it, or she and Dawson edited it.
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
they were in basically the editing software, and we had to go episode by episode because normally you're able to just scroll and watch it continuously, and we literally like watch an episode, go back, pick the next episode, go to it because we couldn't figure out how to watch it all in one go. But
yeah.
it was also kind of nice because we got a second in between each of the episodes where everyone could be like, "Oh my God, that moment!" And everyone was like hooting and hollering and chatting, and everyone had a lot to say. It was a lot
Yeah,
of
that dream scene was
Oh my God, the
the
dream sequence. Yeah, I guess we haven't talked about the dream sequence. I don't know if we have time to
yeah.
talk about
We can
that.
talk about the dream
But
sequence. Go for it. We can't
No, the
help
whole
now. You've
room is
brought
like
it up.
yeah.
the comments that I have gotten, everyone has been like, so that dream sequence, a lot of my friends will be like, so there's a picture on your Instagram of two men kissing you. I'm like, I promise it's not that crazy. And then we watch it and I'm like, oh, this is pretty steamy. Like,
Oh, we were sitting there, we were just like,
nothing's very graphic, but yeah, we were all a little.
yeah,
It's the lighting as well. It's the way it's the
The
lighting is
glamour
even
lighting,
more
we're
of
all
a
glowing.
yeah. You are
I'm like,
glowing.
my skin looks great. I'll take it.
It's just a really good skincare moment. That's all.
No, totally. I'm like, so my moisturizer is working. Good to know.
I can't thank you both enough. You're absolute superstars, particularly getting up early when you finished late last night. And also distracting yourself. If people don't know, Eloise has kittens, and she could be playing with kittens, but she's talking to me
Oh,
instead.
I'm just hoping you haven't been able to hear them because they've been screaming this whole time.
Yeah, honestly, I just thank you so, so much. And yeah, I think we're all established now. We need a sequel because we need to know what happens next.
Yes, I agree.
certainly.
Salty, we need a sequel.